নমস্কার। আজকে আমরা ডক্টর শোভন রায় সাহেবের কাছে এসেছি। ওনার সঙ্গে কথা বলবো। আপনারা হয়তো অনেকেই জানেন বা অনেকেই পড়েছেন। রায় সাহেব একখানা অসাধারণ বই লিখেছিলেন, ডক্টর রাধিকা নাথ সাহা, আনসাং হিরো অফ ইন্ডিয়ান ফাউন্টেন পেন্স বলে। শোভন রায় সাহেবের এই বইটা, এটা একটা সেমিনাল ওয়ার্ক। কেননা এই ধরনের বই বা এই ধরনের রিসার্চ আগে কোনো দিন হয়নি, এবং ভারতবর্ষে ফাউন্টেন পেন তৈরির ইতিহাসের একখানা অজানা একটা বিরাট দিগন্ত শোভন রায় সাহেব উন্মোচন করেন এই বইয়ের মাধ্যমে। এই বইতে বিকজ উনি বলেছিলেন অ্যাবাউট ডক্টর Radhika Nath Saha, who had 14 patents on fountain pens in 4 different countries in the beginning of the last century, which is a huge thing. And we Indians, we didn't know that such a person existed till, of course, Dr. Roy did the research. He found out everything, including the patents and rare photographs. Robindranath এই পেন ইউজ করতেন, গান্ধীজি এই পেন ইউজ করতেন, তার প্রমাণ্য দলিল সমেত এই বইটা উনি লিখেছিলেন। We have come here today to talk to Dr. Roy because the second edition of this book, in a much bigger, more research oriented, more detailed version of this book is about to come out, and we want everyone to be aware of it. I mean, he has been very kind to exclusively talk to Inked Happiness to talk about this book, to talk about why he went into research, how he did about, and generally talk about the book and the new book that's coming. We will go and meet Dr. Roy straight out. Thank you.
My interest in studying the history of fountain pen, rather say Indian history of fountain pen, is incidental. I am basically a biologist, particularly an ecologist with a substantial contribution in the field, in the literature of ecology, biology, and a long research background of about 30 years. And I am also involved in research funding for a long time. However, my father was an antiquarian. He was a man of literature, Dr. Sunit Kumar Rai, deceased father. And I developed interest in Indian antiquity, Indian history, Indian heritage from my father since my childhood. I used to help my father in his works. Further, during the last Gregorian century, fountain pen history and the matters related to fountain pen, all these things were not a subject to study. In the previous century, we found that elites of India used to keep costly foreign fountain pens with them as passion, as status user. So the subject of fountain pen didn't develop in the previous century, and it was a day-to-day instrument as well. Low-cost popular fountain pens were day-to-day instrument to the people, and as it was a day-to-day instrument, it didn't have the vintage status or even the antique status, because the Indian history of fountain pen was not properly known. In the present century, collectors of fountain pens, particularly Indian fountain pens, gradually increased, and there was a necessity to make a proper documentation of Indian fountain pens for the future generation, because by this time plenty of Indian fountain pen brands have become extinct. And as I had an interest in Indian antiquity, I concentrated on the subject of fountain pen history, and in broader perspective, the history of science related to fountain pen in India. I decided to make a proper documentation of lost Indian fountain pens for the future generations to come. And that's all. Bringing out Radhika Nath Saha to the people of the world is no doubt a rediscovery. But before saying that, I must explain about the word rediscovery. Alexander Fleming in 1928 discovered penicillin, and in 1929 that was published in the British Journal of Experimental Pathology. And once it was published, Alexander Fleming's name was known for this work. The editor of the journal knew his name, reviewers of the paper knew his name, and plenty of readers, number of readers who read that particular paper in British Journal of Experimental Pathology knew the name of Alexander Fleming and knew that a penicillin had antibacterial property. So after that 10 years passed and many persons read that particular paper of Alexander Fleming and knew his name. In 1938, Ernest Boris Chain and Sir Howard Walter Florey again started to work on penicillin after reading that paper. They started drug development. They used penicillin as antibacterial medicine in mice model, then human model, and ultimately the drug was made and the dosage was standardized. This led to the industrial production of penicillin, and a new avenue opened up for the treatment of soldiers in the Second World War. So Alexander Fleming's work of 1929 was rediscovered by Chain and Florey in 1938, and Nobel Prize was given in 1945 to Fleming, Chain and Florey. So this is rediscovery. Merely knowing the name of penicillin was not the rediscovery. Rediscovery was when it was brought to the people for the benefit of the people, for the benefit of the bigger mass of the world, with all its properties, with all its qualities, then it was a rediscovery. Likewise, name of Radhika Nath Saha was known to a number of persons in the last century, in the last 50 years of the previous Gregorian century, and in this century also. Many people wrote about Radhika Nath Saha in different newspapers, and all of those articles were catalyzed by his grandson Shubhajit Saha from Varanasi. Those articles were not research articles, rather information was given to them from Saha's house, and they made one story, and that story was among another 100 stories they are making in a year. So Radhika Nath Saha's name, Lakshmi Pen's name, these things were known to many people in India, but Radhika Nath Saha was not rediscovered. Almost you will find in every year, by and large every year, a news in any Hindi Delhi or English Delhi in Varanasi about this celebration of birthday of Radhika Nath Saha and his son Gopal Chandra Saha. But Radhika Nath Saha was not rediscovered. He was not known to the greater mass, bigger mass, and his actual contribution, his significance was not known to the people at large. I will mention two important articles. one in Gandhip in 1997 by Dr. Mohanlal Tiwari in Hindi. That was regarding Gopal Chandra Saha. And in that article, Tiwari wrote many lines about the contributions of Radhika Nath Saha. In 2007, veteran journalist of Varanasi, Ramesh K. Singh, wrote one article, created one feature in the English Daily Pioneer regarding Radhika Nath Saha, because that was the centenary year of the opening of Lakshmi Stylo Penworks Company Private Limited in Varanasi in 2007. But that failed to create any impact. And Radhika Nath Saha was not rediscovered. Fountain pen community didn't know about his contribution. None of the articles written till date by anyone was a research study. Radhika Nath Saha was even not rediscovered by me. In 2014, when I found a fountain pen box of Lakshmi Stylo Penworks Private Limited available with the veteran collector of Calcutta, Apurva Kumar Panda, I came to know about that Dr. R.N. Saha made Lakshmi pen, and Lakshmi pen was known to many persons. So I thought that he could be a businessman of fountain pen or a manufacturer of fountain pen of that time. Okay, in future, if I get opportunity of going to Varanasi, I will make one article on Radhika Nath Saha, a businessman of fountain pen. But suddenly, in early 2019, I discovered a patent of Radhika Nath Saha, the American patent of 1910, the patent of fountain pen. And as a man of science, as a man of science and technology, and with my attachment with science and technology of India for last 30 years, I immediately realized the importance of that patent in the Indian history of science. And as soon as I discovered that patent, rediscovered that patent, rather say, I decided to go to Varanasi, and the story is written in the book, no need of repetition. The rediscovery of Radhika Nath Saha was made after I got the information of his patents. And after that, with the help of two patent experts of West Bengal State Council of Science and Technology, Department of Science and Technology, Dr. Mohua Om Chaudhary and Paramita Saha, I became successful to bring out all the 14 patents of Radhika Nath Saha. And in Varanasi, I also discovered in early 2019 the hard copy of Romance of Pen Industries in the house of Shobhajit Saha, and that is the only hard copy I have seen till date. This book, Radhika Nath Saha, Unsung Hero of Indian Fountain Pen, has been translated in Russian. Already it has been done by someone from Ukraine. Now soon the first Bengali book, rather say Bangla biography of Radhika Nath Saha is going to be published. Radhika Nath Saha was a pioneer of the Indian Renaissance, an unknown pioneer of Indian Renaissance. He was known to the world, but we do not remember him. So he is nowadays an unknown pioneer of Indian Renaissance. So the first book on Radhika Nath Saha in Bangla, in Bengali language, is going to be published very soon. The second edition of this book, English book, is also going to be published. With the help of Shubhajit Saha, his grandson, and great grandson Shivam Saha and Priyam Saha, I have become able to discover many new documents and information about Radhika Nath Saha. The chain of handing over the Lakshmi fountain pen to Mahatma Gandhi is now complete. I have got the information about the beginning of the chain. End of the chain was already known from the previous edition. So new photographs and new scanned copies of Rabindranath Tagore's letter to Saha are included in the second edition, and we have also become able to get the worldwide agents of Lakshmi Stylo Pen Fountain Limited from 1910. Near about 90 agents were there in India, Burma, Ceylon and Gulf countries. India means undivided India, including Pakistan or Bangladesh. So this will be an error corrected. Rather say the final edition about Radhika Nath Saha's biography on my behalf, from my part. In future, others may have more research on him and may bring more books on this pioneering fountain pen maker of India. Thank you. Collection of anything comes from the habit of collection, rather say, comes from our child ego state. And creativity is also from our child ego state, but we must make it meaningful. The habit of collection of anything comes from our child ego state. And creativity is also from our child ego state, but the habit of collection should be meaningful. Otherwise, it becomes just a Cinderella. You are collecting something, say for instance fountain pen, your volume is increasing, your collection, fountain pen numbers are increasing. Are you seeing it every day? It is no doubt performing a healthy psychological purpose. But after you, if your next generation has no interest, these will be either thrown out or sold out. Indian history of fountain pen is just sprouting in the burgeoning state. Lot of documentations are needed. And if you are collecting Indian fountain pens, whatever cheap fountain pen it is, it doesn't matter. Costly or cheap fountain pen, each fountain pen has its own history. Each fountain pen has its own origin from a family of different needs, and it served different purpose. So, at this stage, at this juncture of writing the history of Indian fountain pen, you need to document each and every fountain pen which once upon a time was produced in India. Because you may be the owner of a brand not even known to a single person. Only one sample is remaining and it is with you. So, all collectors of fountain pens should keep a document, writing details, document of their collection list, brand names and details about the pen, and can try to find out, they can try to find out from trademark journals if any history is available about that brand or not. Most of the brands are trademark registered, and you will find their origin, the owner's name, the date of manufacture, the first date of manufacture, till when it was manufactured, all these things you will get from trademark journals. So, if you have got any brand of fountain pen, unknown brand of fountain pen, please document it, getting detailed information from trademark journals. It is available on worldwide website, internet rather say. And this documentation of unknown brands available with you will certainly help to create a constructive history, a complete history of Indian fountain pen making. And in my opinion, in India, in the previous century, we had at least 1200 plus fountain pen brands. And till now, as far as literature is available with different persons, we have got around 350 to 400 fountain pen brands known to us, and their small history is available with many persons, and you will get it in the trademark journals. So, try to document out these brands and write the history of Indian fountain pen. Second thing, If possible, you can make one museum, you can try to make museums, small museums of your collection, so that these samples can be preserved, or even contribute your collection to a museum if it is not possible for you. You can contribute to a museum so that it is permanently preserved. Another important thing in documentation or in writing the history of Indian fountain pen is the collection of previous documents published during that time. You will get advertisements of different fountain pens from the magazines of undivided India. And during the time of Swadeshi, different organizations, business societies used to bring Swadeshi directories to inform Indians about the Swadeshi products, so that they can reject out foreign products and go for their Swadeshi choice. And those Swadeshi directories serve a great purpose of identifying Swadeshi fountain pens. One recent example is from Sovan Nath, who has found out a Swadeshi directory from 1931-32, from where we came to know about model industries of Agra producing Dayalbagh fountain pen since around 1915-16. So, collection, rather say, for an effort to write the Indian history of fountain pen, first you need to gather information, and Swadeshi directories serve their purpose to a great extent. These directories are genuine and give genuine information about Swadeshi products and help to write the history of fountain pens. And I am sure that all over India, from north, east, west, south, many Swadeshi directories were published during that time, and from where you can get the desired information of your locality, of your area during that time. Thank you.